cosmos. Countless worlds upon worlds, worlds without end. In these galaxies, every possible reality exists. And what is reality on any one world is mere fantasy on all others. Here all is real and all is illusion. What is, what was, and what will be start here with the words, in the beginning there was...
You are listening to
Mutations.
Mid-Valley
Mutations.
Citations. Mutations.
On Sheena's Jungle Room.
Mid-Valley.
Here we go again.
Part of the WFMU family of products.
Mutations.
A vast circular airport is close to the city, with a giant dirigible hangar. So that it can be turned easily to meet any wind direction, it is resting in a pool of liquid.
And welcome to Mid-Valley Mutations. Here on... Oh, hey, that's a little hot, isn't it? That's a little better. On Sheena's Jungle Room and WFMU. Trying things in a slightly different configuration today because, well, you know, I got tired of the way things used to be. And so I wanted to try things differently. Hopefully it sounds nice and clear and loud. Because that is the best way to listen to the radio. Yes, welcome. We got a little bit of a digital salon going tonight, which is always pleasant and excellent because tonight, of course, is our first week of Marathonin. Or as we have been saying recently, the future of when? Marathonin. Exploring a little bit about the future and hoping that not too many people are waiting too long to make a donation to WFMU and Sheena's Jungle Room and help keep this big old boat sailing on forward into the future. Because as I have been reminded many, many times before, it is where we will spend the rest of our lives. Let's see, we got Imaginos and Arvo Xylo hanging out in the digital salon. Nice to see you guys. Always pleasure. And Bandit, hello. I feel like we've had the problem with Bandit that they are usually listening on their commute home, which is great because getting home is good. But it does mean that we get less interaction with Bandit, which is a little bit of a bummer because we like Bandit. So hopefully that can resolve itself someday. But in the meantime, let's just say hello. Chris O, happy marathon as well to you and yours. Arvo Xylo, of course. And yeah, I think that is the current crowd hanging out. But, you know, there might be some lurkers out there. We often have lurkers on this show, and we have been known to say that we love them. We love our lurkers. So feel free to lurk and work and do whatever it is that you do. So while we're hanging out here a little bit, let's talk marathon, because I think you all know why we are here. We would like to make a little financial reservoir for our radio station, so that we don't have to worry in the coming year. And so I think there are many, many ways to donate, many ways that you can help WFMU. I am not here to chastise or to suggest that if you cannot afford, that you need to anyways. What's wrong with you? No, that's not how we do things here on the show. No, what we are interested in is if you can help, if this is within your ability, and if you would like to, we would really love to get your assistance on keeping things going. So there's a number of ways that you can help out. Any amount that you can is definitely going to be well worth you doing. So don't feel bad about anything if you can only make small donations. But if you are the kind of person that can make larger donations, and more pointedly, you are looking to get a prize in return for your donation, then I have some good news for you, because tonight we have a 3-for-1 deal on the Thinking Fellers Union Local 282, a band that I really, really love. Always regretted that I could never see them live, and then they had a sort of pseudo reunion with Porist and Sir Richard Bishop that I went to about 10 years ago, which was fantastic. And now I understand that some of their albums have been reissued on vinyl and are available to enjoy as people who are fans of WFMU. So I'm very excited about this. We have 3 albums to give away, and we have a grand prize. Now, of those albums and grand prize, 3 of them are Thinking Fellers Union Local 282 related. So you have a chance to get 2 of their albums for a $20 or more donation. You have a chance to get a double album, I believe. Let me double check on that, because I think it is a double album, but I'm not 100% sure. I have the information here in front of me. Yes, it is a double LP. In fact, everything is an LP tonight. So all of the prizes that you can win on vinyl. So yeah, one of these Thinking Feller records is going to be a grand prize. It's a double LP. So you gotta cough up on that one to get that in your collection. But we also have another album off of the Sundays label, one of those reissues of the psych rock band The Leaves. On green vinyl. So like I said, we got 3 different options for albums that you could get as a prize if you make a donation during this show and in the name of Mid-Valley Mutations. Of course, there's all sorts of other stuff that you could get that is quite amazing. We have the new this year, if you can scroll to the top of the current page, if you're hanging out in the digital salon, that is, you'll see an image of the Sheena's Jungle Room keychain. Now, you can only get that if you make a $75 donation to WFMU, but I mean, how cool is that keychain? But putting that out into the world when you're doing stuff and you're like, oh yeah, here, let me just grab my Sheena's keychain while we take care of business. I mean, people are going to be jealous. They're going to think that's the coolest thing since sliced bread. And you're going to have one. So yeah, if you make a donation, you can get that into your key ring. Let's see. I hope it's sounding pretty good out there. I really do. Let's see, what else did I have? Oh yeah, so we got that going on. We're talking about the future. We want people to not let things slide too far into the future, which is why we kind of started things off with that waited too long. We don't want people to wait too long. We want people to take care of things now, seize the moment. And so with that in mind, we actually have audience participation happening right now. The lines are open as we speak. Just go to bit.ly/MVM audience participation, all one word. And you'll get right into the call. And once you're in the call, you can send audio, you can talk, we can talk. And I thought tonight, since we're talking about the future and we're talking about the marathon and ways that you can raise money, I thought it might be kind of interesting to talk about what about WFMU gives you hope for the future. If you have comments like that you want to make and you feel comfortable calling in, let's chat. Let's get that on the air. I think people out there will be curious to know why it's important to those who are listening and to those who make WFMU a part of their regular routine. But of course, that's not all. We're going to do some mixing and some cut-ups and stuff like that. I got some samples ready. We got some music. And I think I'm going to play all tunes by Thinking Fellers Union tonight to kind of help put you guys in the mood. And I think I pulled almost all of their albums, including a 3-CD compilation that's never actually been officially released, but it was distributed in the file-sharing era, Duck Duck Chimp, which was a 3-disc set. The first one was kind of unreleased studio tracks by the band, or stuff from compilations and things like that. And then the second disc was all live recordings from different performances and things. And then the third disc was solo recordings or other bands that included Thinking Fellers members. And that disc is a lot of interesting and unusual projects. But I think I have all of the actual regular albums and EPs with me tonight. So if there's an album you appreciate or a tune that you want to hear, let's get it into the mix. Now, for those who are keeping track, the two that are available for, if you just make a regular donation, The Funeral Pudding and Tangle. Both of those are available for you to enjoy if you want to make a little donation. So yeah, let's kind of get into things here. It's like I said, Mid-Valley Mutations, Sheena's Jungle Room, WFMU. It's the marathon. Let's raise some coin. Let's get some cash going. Let's help keep this thing going. I appreciate radio quite a bit, and I hope you do too. Now, let's get into things.
Mid-Valley.
Outside is an airport with its hangars and planes. There are special facilities for handling sea of the inland airports of 1960.
Mutations.
real future was in the Futurama.
From the red earth of Mexico, it's coming.
But the whole real future was in the Futurama. I waited for hours on the switchback lines of the General Motors building.
Why is my stomach churning? Why is my brain burning? What time is it when the clock is damn! Why is my stomach burning? Why is my brain churning? What time is it when the clock is
Mid-Valley.
But the whole real future was in the Futurama. I waited for hours on the switchback lines of the General Motors building.
Mutations.
From the red earth of Mexico, it's coming. From China, a piece of the Great War, it's coming. From every corner of the earth, it's coming. And it's coming soon. You've got to be there.
Point me in the right direction. I'll be there.
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 We want to see how history is being made in Tennessee. You got to be there.
Columbia, you have okay to land in Knoxville? Roger, Houston, we'll be there.
The 1982 World's Fair. You got to be there.
But the whole real future was in the Futurama. I waited for hours on the switchback lines of the General Motors building, inching my way towards the future.
magically beautiful setting by the Golden Gate, the Palace of Fine Arts, the last surviving memory of the Phantom City, still proudly stands in stately grandeur, and where Palace of Fairyland have been replaced by countless homes.
Thinking about tomorrow.
Turning back the pages of time, we find President William Howard Taft breaking ground on February the 25th, 1911, for the Phantom City.
Actually, tomorrow scared me a little.
And then, after an army of architects, artists, and engineers had dreamed their best dreams and had brought them to life, it was ready. Magnificent courts and fountains, its walls of creamy travertine, its ever-blooming gardens stretching along the shores of the Golden Gate. At a signal from President Wilson, the fountain of energy burst into activity. The gates were thrown open and the world had its first glimpse of a phantom city.
Could I grasp the immense plan expressed in occult symbols all over the fair?
What a sight and what a crowd. All eager to explore its mysteries and marvel at its splendor.
Would I be up to tomorrow? Would I be up to tomorrow?
Mayor James Rolfe Jr. dedicated the Phantom City. Charles C. Moore, its president, spoke in response. Secretary Franklin K. Lane represented President Wilson, and Governor Hiram Johnson spoke for California.
How's it going out there?
Hello.
There you are. How's it going?
Oh, there we go. Okay. It was... my headphones was connected to my car.
Oh, I see. So we have an in-transit bandit, if I understand correctly.
Oh, I think he's muted.
Well, how's it going out there?
Hello.
Hello. I'm sorry. I am sorry. I don't think you could hear me there for a moment. How's it going?
Hi. Yeah, it said you were muted.
Sorry about that. So many things
good.
going on behind the scenes.
It's all good. It's marathon season. There's bound to be some hiccups.
Yeah. But I think we got it all sorted, and it's lovely to hear your voice. I always enjoy you being on the show.
Hi. Yeah, I love your show. Really, your show's awesome. It's like really different than any of the like WFMU is different, but like yours is like a different type of different. If that makes sense.
I know. I appreciate that. I have always wanted to do something that I don't usually hear on radio.
Yeah, this is very much a different show that I don't think I've ever heard on at least radio here in Buffalo. Nothing like this.
It's interesting because I would think on the East Coast there would be a lot more strange stuff and whatnot, but maybe I'm wrong.
Maybe near New York City, but like that's what WFMU is for.
I see. Well, I'm happy to help.
Yeah.
Wait, so part of the theme, of course, is the future, and so I always try to imagine, what future benefits exist because of WFMU and adjacent things. So, do you have any thoughts along those lines of the future? This gives us hope in the future in some way.
Yeah, I was giving it a little bit of thought, and I wanted to call in before driving home. I don't know. I think because a lot of the DJs have been reiterating over on the mothership that it's kind of like one of the few last bastions of freedom of speech. The defining thing that is the defining thing of our country.
Right. One of the last places where that actually exists.
Essentially, yeah, and just like the melting of just different ideas to make this not homogenize is not the wrong word. That's the wrong idea. This banquet's a good word. Banquet of just different sounds and ideas and just the God, I can't really put it into words. It's just like this. It's too big of an idea. You know what I mean? It exists.
I do like your banquet analogy though, because WFMU delivers a lot of different things, and so a lot of different people can eat or ingest or listen to a lot of different kinds of radio, and so there is a little. I like that analogy. That's great.
Yeah, that's like kind of how I've explained it to my roommate. Is like, hey, if you don't like what you're hearing now, just wait an hour, and you will hear something completely different.
Right. What's that? What's that Midwest weather saying? Where if you don't like the weather now, wait 5 minutes.
Yeah, it's kind of like what Buffalo weather is. Just give it a minute. Either it'll be freezing or it'll be hot as balls.
I've never really been there. Closest I came, I was in D.C. for one day, and I think that was as far north as I got. I know you're out west. The most west I've been is Seattle. Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean, there's a little more west you can get, but that's pretty far west.
Yeah, in the continental 48.
Yeah. I guess you could go to Hawaii, but yeah. The Washington coast is gorgeous, by the way. If you ever get a chance,
I would love to go back someday.
Yeah. Well, here's our mission, guys. We got to raise enough money so that we can send Bandit to Washington.
Maybe I could come on your show live.
There we go. We could meet up. Yeah, that's great. I love that idea.
That would be so cool.
If you come to the West Coast, we'll make something work.
Oh, that's so dope.
Yeah. I keep thinking about this too, because I have said this before on the show, but there's so much to get bummed out about lately, and looking forward to being able to listen to and interact with, and then do a radio show here is definitely one of those things that kind of gives me a little bit of hope, and I can only imagine without it what we would do.
It's very much, it helps. The routine of just like, oh, okay, it's Tuesday, it's Monday, Dime Store's on. Oh, it's Monday, Dime Store's on. Tuesday, oh, Mid-Valley's on. That kind of like routine.
Yeah.
Okay, I can ignore the world for a few hours.
Mm-hmm. It's like if you still have to work on Friday, at least I get to listen to Mr. Fab on Friday mornings and go oh, okay, just a few more hours and then I'm off work.
Yeah. Or it's okay. I'm glad I'm not the only one that divides up their time via what show is on. Because I definitely do that with it's 6:00. Ask Alan's on. That means my day's almost over.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean, we all are looking for different ways to help get through our particular lifestyles and whatnot. And it's always nice to have a little radio to listen to while you work, and man, that really helps.
and I think tangentially from that, having a community just to like be able that like is like essentially there for you as well. It's just kind of like to share in the suffering, the collective suffering that everybody's going through, which I know is kind of like weird, but like I don't know, it kind of makes sense to me.
You're not far off though. I mean, like we you know, there's something about it where we have similar understanding of what is going on, and so we're more than happy to try to like lend an ear, be supportive, you know, play a song that makes us all smile and grin.
Yeah, no, I agree.
Yeah. Well, I noticed briefly in the digital salon that you were digging the Thinking Fellers, and this was new to you.
Yeah, I had never heard of them before.
Yeah, I mean that their last album was like in the early 2000s, and they didn't really do much of a reunion thing since then. I mean, they've had like a few times where side projects have gotten back together, and then they'll do like slyly a couple of Thinking Fellers songs, but yeah, they're one of those bands that kind of have like they're almost like of a different generation.
Okay.
But
which one of their other albums would you suggest?
The one that I started with that I think is a very good beginning place is called Lovelyville.
Lovelyville?
Yeah, Lovelyville. Yeah, and it's got some classic tunes. It's got a couple covers. The CD version has like a bunch of weird demo jams of other songs that kind of never went anywhere. And, it's a great record to start with, and I think it gives you a nice cross section of everything that they do, including like wild rock songs and then super lo-fi stuff. So.
Yeah, it's like because like I what I do at work is like I'm at a computer all day, so I was like, okay, let's look up this band, and like it said it was rock, but I'm just like, this is very much like weird rock, like
right
on the cusp of like a bunch of different genres.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, and like I said, we have a few of those available. So for anybody who is interested in trying to take one of those albums home, we've got I think Tangle is the one of the ones that are out on vinyl newly, and then the other one, The Funeral Pudding, also newly out on vinyl. And the records are kind of all over the place, but they certainly are a kind of 90s alt rock that they probably would have gotten a radio deal if they weren't so weird.
Well, that's what WFMU is for. So
right. Exactly. Well, what else? What else should we say about the future of radio and whatnot, or should we kind of get back into things?
You know, there's an ad I keep seeing for Starlink, and it has a quote from Arthur C. Clarke.
Oh, nice.
And I've never heard this quote from him before, but it's that predicting the future I'm butchering it at the moment because I can't think of the exact wording, but like something to a tune of the future is a hazard to predict or something like that.
Yeah. I think I remember that. Yeah, like it's a bit of a fool's game or something like that. Yeah.
Yeah, and like I wouldn't say the future of radio is a hazard to predict where it's going, but I think as long as there are channels like WFMU and like other internet radio, like doing like weird experimental stuff, I think it'll draw in people like a magnet, like a bit of a weird magnet.
Yeah. I mean, every time I hear I work with some people who are in their 20s. Every time I hear them talking about some new music that they're listening to, it's pretty strange.
Right.
I feel like WFMU is like the place where like most people will find something they like eventually.
Yeah, it's like one of the things I've noticed is that like, because like I've only been listening regularly for about a year now, and like I've noticed, at least for myself, I can't really speak for anybody else, but like for myself, I've noticed that my taste in music has broadened a lot, to where like stuff I probably wouldn't have listened to like in the past is just like, let me give this a try.
Well, yeah. And a lot of the old-fashioned ways that people found out about music, like music magazines and music video shows and things like that, it's kind of gone away. And so radio
don't really exist anymore.
Yeah, the radio is kind of like the last place left where you actually get a person customizing a little playlist for you and saying like, hey, check this out. I think you might dig it.
Yes, I recently found out about the show Night Flight, which was a big like video magazine thing. Yeah, I subbed to that streaming thing to just see all the high weirdness.
So that app is amazing. You get some really cool stuff on the Night Flight
There's
app.
A lot of like hidden gems.
Yeah,
there.
A lot of great music documentaries, a lot of interesting music videos. I think complete episodes of the old Night Flight show as well.
Yeah.
Oh man.
But like stuff like that, I don't think would ever like, at least in the more corporatized now that we are in, I don't think a show like Night Flight would ever be greenlit.
Yeah, you'd have to find like something like on Twitch or what have you to find the equivalent.
Yeah.
And
really.
Even then, like copyright would be an issue eventually. So.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I watched that thing back when I was when I was a teen. Night Flight was one of the ways you found out about things.
Yeah, like I one of the ones I watched was about animation and music videos. That was a good one.
Oh, wow. Yeah. I bet I can't even name that many off the top of my head. Oh, that's a good. I'm gonna have to dig that one up for later.
Yeah, it at least on the app, it like sometimes it doesn't have the full episodes. Like it'll chunk the different segments into like its own video.
Because sometimes it would show like a whole movie in the middle of a Night Flight episode, or like a 50-minute long chunk of something. So I suspect in the modern days they probably have
copyright,
or just stream the whole movie elsewhere in the app.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, we consume things in such different ways too, because like in those days you'd put that on and it was just a very linear experience. I imagine people now watch it and they're like, oh, let me Google this, let me search that, let me check where this is heading. There's like a whole second and third screen situation happening when you're watching something like that was not the case when I was a teenager.
Yeah, there isn't much of a monoculture as
because I mean, when I was watching it, I wasn't on the phone with anyone else. There wasn't another. It's like we watched it and then we talked about it like a week later or 2 days later.
Yeah.
Or whatever,
I'm pretty sure I'm like the last generation to experience something like that, because like I'm in my late 20s.
Okay.
So like, yeah, that's like I barely have memories like that. I'm just like, okay.
Yeah.
I don't know how I feel about this.
I mean, late 90s, I think I was still watching Night Flights in those days too, so yeah, some things never change. Well, I think that is one of the things about this kind of like future of then concept that I like, is that like, when we start thinking about the past and the way we used to think about the future in the past, it's often sometimes very similar to like some things don't change over time, even though we try to be forward thinking.
Yeah, time is a flat circle.
Right, exactly. Well, thank you so much for calling in, Bandit. If you got something else for us a little later, by all means, give us a ring. But it's always a pleasure to talk to you.
It's a pleasure to talk to you too, man. I love your show.
Oh, thank you so much.
Talk to you soon.
Yeah. Let's chat again soon.
Yeah. Bye.
And this is Mid-Valley Mutations here on Sheena's Jungle Room, WFMU. We're in the Lava Lamp Lounge tonight, giving you a little bit of the future of then. Marathonin. Let's do a little bit more before we switch gears.
Mid-Valley.
It seemed so urgent that tomorrow be dragged out of the future where it lay, peacefully unborn. But why was it so urgent?
Mutations.
Why? Looking back now, I can see why.
It was a great day and a great crowd. The Tower of Jewels, beautiful beyond description, sparkling with hundreds of thousands of multicolored jewels in the brilliant sun or in the night illumination. It was the central and dominant feature of the Phantom City. In the center of the lovely South Gardens, the fountain of energy, flanked on either side by twin mermaid pools, greeted the eye of the visitor.
And if I had seen this film at the fair, where it was first shown, I might have understood a little then. We hoped for so much from the future because our present seemed so empty.
And to the left was the Crystal Dome Palace horticulture, Byzantine architecture suggesting the Mosque of Ahmed I in Constantinople, housing within strange and beautiful plants of all the tropical world. To the right, Festival Hall, a shrine where music lovers worshipped.
We hoped for so much from the future because our present seemed so empty.
notable spoke to huge gatherings. And just back of the tower was the Court of the Universe, with the two famous statues, the rising sun and the setting sun.
Don't tell us that this is the best that you can do in building cities. Who built this place? What put us here? And how do we get out again? We're asking. Just asking.
Now the Court of Abundance embraced the beautiful fountain of the earth. The fountain series graced the symbolic court of four seasons. The Court of Palms, with a sunken pool containing that beloved statue. The end of the trail. Majestic colonnades surrounded the Court of Flowers and the Beauty and Beast Fountain. The Fine Arts Palace, with its priceless art treasures, in its exquisite setting by the lagoon, will live in memory forever.
The depression that began in 1929 had never really lifted. Here we were, a mighty nation. Our industrial plant intact. Our people strong and willing, and millions living on charity or on the streets. Everything shabby. Worn out. Stall. Thinking men and women, the Institute of Planners, which made this film, believed that the waste, the frustration, the killing poverty were worse than evil. They were unnecessary. They believed we could rebuild our fallen system so that it served people instead of consuming. All it would take was informed, democratic assent to central planning and a willingness to shake off the past.
Mid-Valley.
Sculptors from all over the world brought their skill to adorn the Phantom City. Every school of art was represented. Palaces and courts and fountains all carried their quota of sculptural beauty.
Mutations.
These few statues are but a reminder of the countless others just as lovely.
Whew. Sometimes you don't realize how far into the hour you are. And suddenly, you're way into the hour. But it looks like we have given away our very first prize, and I'm very excited about that. And if you want to claim one of those Thinking Feller Union Local 282 records, then you really should get on the ball as soon as possible. I'm going to hold off on announcing all of the winners until a little later in the show, but just to remind people what we have available. We have an album by the Leaves. These are all on vinyl, by the way, LPs, just to make sure everybody knows. We have an album by the Leaves. All the good that's happening on Sundazed Records. That's a translucent green vinyl record. If you make a $20 donation, that could be yours. We also have 2 albums by Thinking Fellows Union, Tangle and The Funeral Pudding. Both of those could be available to you if you make a $20 donation to WFMU. And then lastly, we have These Things Remain Unassigned, a 2-album double LP from Thinking Fellows Union Local 282. Now that is going to be a grand prize, so you got to make a little bit of a heftier donation and closer to the $75 range, but if you do, you could walk away with that. I also like to push the Swag for Life opportunity for people who like to not necessarily have to think about their donations to WFMU. You can just kind of sign up for that. It comes out of your bank account automatically, and then you can support us monthly at the level that makes the most sense to you. And there's all sorts of benefits for people who sign up for the Swag for Life program. It's what's happening. But yeah, lots of things that you can do out there. I don't want to necessarily push too hard one way or another for folks who are trying to figure out what they want to do. But certainly, if you are in the mood to support us, then by all means, let's have some fun. It's either too loud or too quiet. Now, we got a little bit of a digital salon hanging out tonight with Mr. X and Arvo Xylo and Imaginos. And Jeff Yu. Hey, look at that. Jeff Yu talking about seeing Thinking Fellows Union at a Calkins House show in Eugene, and he says at the end of that, Snake Pit probably opened. Oh man, that would have been a great show. I love Snake Pit. For those who like to know, Snake Pit contained a member of who went on to be in Dinosaur Jr., Mike Johnson, who also, Mike Johnson had all sorts of solo stuff that he did in and around the Eugene area. The quality of that stuff led to him getting a gig with Dinosaur Jr. Aaron in Minneapolis, I love your attitude. You are always a winner in your heart. I love that. If you have more questions about how to make a donation or anything, make sure to visit the WFMU website, WFMU.org. There's lots of links there. You'll see all sorts of stuff. It's painless these days to make a donation. You don't have to talk to anyone on the phone or anything like that. It's just all over the interwebs. I think you can, if you call the mothership, make a donation over the phone. But for the web streams, you just got to enjoy our wonderful talents here as DJs. And speaking of, let's play a little bit more of those Thinking Feller Union tracks that I pulled. I think this is their first album, Wormed by Leonard. On the West Coast, where I do the show, it just turned 7 o'clock. So let's play a track called It's 7. It's Mid-Valley Mutations here on Sheena's Jungle Room, WFMU. And every once in a while, it sounds like this.
Mid-Valley.
And the distances were magnificent. Now here's a glimpse down the Avenue of Palms, a vision of breathtaking beauty.
Mutations.
Machinery Hall Avenue lit past the largest wooden building ever constructed, and where was staged the only indoor flight in aviation history.
If you want to talk about the future and how WFMU helps give you a future or faith in there one being one, give us a call. bit.ly/MVM audience participation. Be a part of the show.
There's only a time for a glimpse of the many state and foreign buildings, picturesque and individual, and housing rare exhibits from the far corners of the earth. trains rushing busily about. The electric chairs, they're not dangerous, but stubborn. And the one-man push chairs, well, pedestrians, though, are in the majority.
It's here, a new city, ready to serve a better age. You and your children, the choice is yours.
And the 4 million square feet of pavement echoed to the beat of tired feet. Never was a more welcome guest than the Liberty Bell, carried all the way from Philadelphia in a flower-decked car, symbolizing the spirit of American freedom.
Actually, this was the new planned town of Greenbelt, Maryland. It looked like the future.
The magic of his own invention brings back the Thomas Edison of a bygone day. His pal, Henry Ford, in a happy, carefree moment. And just look at this automobile race. Here they come, with all 2 cylinders roaring. Hey, 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 look out there. Not even 4-wheel brakes would slow up these speed demons.
It looked like the future. But what the planners insisted, what the whole fair was always saying, was that this is possible today.
Styles have changed since 1915, haven't they? And look at this Merry Widow Waltz, or is it the Grizzly Bear?
At last, you entered the General Motors Futurama through a narrow cleft in that high wall.
No, don't laugh. You dance that way too. You know, look. It was on the playground of the Phantom City. A mile of gaiety. And do you remember Stella?
And you were put into a moving chair, and a voice began to speak with calm certainty.
The submarines, the aeroscope. Here all the nations of the earth came to play. The Indians shook their eagle feathers, the Samoans and the Maoris danced their ritual rhythms to tom-toms beating, and the Mexicans danced to the soft guitar.
It's marathon time here at WFMU and Sheena's Jungle Room. Don't forget to make your donation in whatever amount makes sense to you as soon as possible. You don't want to delay and miss out on these opportunities to win some amazing prizes for making a quick donation to your favorite station. Plus, it just feels really good to make a nice, clean, and comfortable donation to a media outlet that actually says something you want to hear. We'll talk about that again more later. Scroll to the top of the page, click that donate button. There's no better time than right now.
I wonder where these little maypole dancers are today. Rid of all the concessions was the 5-acre miniature of the Panama Canal with real water, the locks and lakes and ships all performing for the delighted spectators who viewed the spectacle from a traveling train.
Before you open a wonderland. 3,000 square miles in scale. A plane ride over an America from which the past, my present, had vanished. Seemingly without a trace.
Here are the Daffodil Girls, all dolled up to visit the Phantom City. Many organizations, long forgotten, paraded gaily through these grounds. That day, a boy in his teens, Art Lindbergh never had a heartier reception. Assembling his suicide plane, fashioned from bamboo, the motor perched just behind the aviator's head looked strangely unfamiliar in this day of 20-passenger cabin planes. But remember, Art Smith was a pioneer.
And now we see a great river city of 1960.
Mr. Lincoln Beechey, aviation martyr of the Phantom City. Rossi, another pioneer, was willing to take long chances with such a flimsy set of wings, flapping wires and bicycle wheels, but he did almost anything in the air that modern flyers can do.
Here is an American city replanned around a highly developed, modern traffic system. On all express city thoroughfares, the rights of way have been so rooted as to displace outmoded business sections and undesirable slum areas whenever possible.
Aviators were daredevils in 1915, and the crowd loved them. A hero on his perilous perch is getting ready for the first illuminated night flight in aviation history. Over the brilliant lights of the Phantom City, he soared and dived and looped, with streams of fire behind him like twin comets blazing across the uncharted skyways. Then, swooping to earth, the wings of his plane, a mass of flames, never to be forgotten thrill.
A vast circular airport is close to the city, with a giant dirigible hangar, so that it can be turned easily to meet any wind direction. It is resting in a pool of liquid.
And do you remember the Phantom City at night? All the beauty in the world being concentrated there. Buildings were bathed in a soft radiance of colored light, while the fountains glistened with a myriad of color. Great rainbows were cast on clouds of steam, and there were no real clouds to reflect the light.
Here is a highway intersection. Highway engineering at its most spectacular.
And then, in December 1915, The last lights of the Phantom City flickered out, its fountains forever silenced. We stood with tear-dimmed eyes, feeling that it was not the end, but only a beginning.
Mid-Valley.
By means of the ramped loops, cars cars may make right and left turns at rates of speed up to 50 miles per hour.
Mutations.
Everybody's planning to see Seattle's spectacular $100 million World's Fair.
Pack up your troubles and forget your cares. Pack up your family and head for the fair in Seattle.
Welcome to the future and all the wonders of the 21st century in the greatest preview the world has ever seen.
Safe distance between cars is maintained by automatic radio control. Curved sides assist the driver in keeping his car within the proper lane under all circumstances.
Think away ahead, look at tomorrow, just as if you were there.
Rocket ride to Mars in the breathtaking U.S. Science Pavilion. See the fabulous city of tomorrow in the gigantic, wall-less, pillarless Coliseum.
A quarter of a mile high skyscrapers tower. On many of the buildings are landing decks for
Have fun with the happy-go-lucky crowd.
Pack up your troubles,
For 6 wonderful months,
pack up your family and head for the fair.
it's the big thrilling adventure of a lifetime.
for helicopters and autogyros. We see some suggestion of the things to come.
Opening April 21st to October 21st in Seattle.
It's the biggest, they say, the most beautiful, the most awe-inspiring, the most colorful, the most spectacular event of this era.
It's the Marathon. That's what's the most colorful event of this era. Make your donation today.
The New York World's Fair. In a word, it's the greatest.
A world with a future in which all of us are tremendously interested. A world with a future in which all of us are tremendously interested. Because that is where we are going to spend the rest of our lives.
It was Democracy and Greenbelt all stitched together with the super highways General Motors was counting on.
Yes, the New York World's Fair is the greatest. That's what people have said. Your friends, your neighbors, your own customers.
And whether or not the Futurama was exactly what the social planners had in mind for America, General Motors had no doubts.
By the millions have responded to that old folk song invitation of, hi-ho, come to the fair. And have they ever come?
When you left the building, you were given a small blue and white button. That said simply, I have seen the future. I have seen the future.
It's WFMU.
I have seen the future.
In the future, we raise enough money to meet the marathon goal.
I have seen the future.
And we all have great radio to listen to.
I have seen the future.
Ladies and gentlemen, you are about to witness the most excitingly different new concept in the history of television.
And have they ever come?
We are looking at 1965. It's TV today from the world of tomorrow.
They call it predictor.
The picture just floats in the air.
The Velcro predictor.
The picture can turn anywhere.
The Velcro predictor.
No picture could ever compare.
Look at this World's Fair parking lot at the fairgrounds.
The Velcro predictor. The Velcro predictor. The Velcro predictor.
10,000 cars. Count them. What state are you from? What? What state are you from?
Good evening. I'm Nelson Case.
What state are you from?
Well, what do you think? Is there any wonder it's called the most advanced television of our time?
What city or town? Look around, and you'll find license plates of cars from every state in the country. parking area and starting on the trip through the fair, a familiar name greets the visitors. And below the name, the most advanced in ultra-modern service stations, designed and built by Sinclair.
And the credit all belongs to Philco television scientists who have worked years to develop a radically new semi-flat picture tube which measures less from front to back than any you've ever seen.
Especially for the World's Fair. The eye-catching circular station is surrounded by 3 circular pump islands.
They've created a new Predicta chassis which puts more picture power in less space. For the first time in television history, they've discovered a way to separate the tube from the chassis.
Has 2 orbiting satellite gasoline pumps and a central customer service cabinet. Pumps roll to the customer's car as if by magic.
Now, all this makes possible a new approach to the design, use, and enjoyment of television receivers as we know them.
This marvel is a first in the oil industry. A world of wonders by Sinclair. The exclusive retail supplier of all petroleum products sold at the World's Fair. Every day, thousands of motorists view this novel service feature. Some, your own customers.
Here's another example of that result. The Philco Predicta pedestal. A completely new console TV, exciting and different. It's truly TV today from the world of tomorrow.
Some, the same motorists who pass your station every day. When they get home, they remember the name Sinclair.
But there's more. There's so much more that you haven't seen or even dreamed of. So be sure to stay tuned in for your first preview look at the most exciting television line in the world. Just Just a sample of what's in store for you right now at your Philco dealers, where it's 1965 today.
Age was born. There is no denying that since that moment, the shadow of the atom bomb has been across all our lives.
They remember the fast, courteous service. The idea is to get them to stop in at your station for more of the same.
All men of goodwill earnestly hope that a realistic control of atomic weapons can and will be achieved. Meanwhile, good sense requires that all of us prepare for any eventuality.
Mid-Valley.
But wisdom demands, too, that we take time to understand this force. Because here, in fact, is the answer to a dream as old as man himself.
Mutations.
Yes, I understand, Mr. X. The Carpenters are not super great. But when people cover the Carpenters, for some reason I like them. And yeah, we're having a good time here. Hopefully getting people excited about the marathon. Yeah, woo, marathon. Woo, hoo, hoo. Yeah, I am very excited about it this year because I found out, which I did not know actually until I was going through the prizes that I could possibly put together for my show for people to get, and I realized that they had reissued some Thinking Fellers albums, ones that I only ever had on like a CD copy. So that was very exciting, and I have some that I can give away to you. And in fact, let's take a look here, because I believe, if I am not mistaken, we have a request here from one of our prize donors here who made a donation and requested specifically to get that Leaves LP, the Sun-Dazed reissue on green vinyl, the 60s rock band The Leaves. And so that is going to go to Tim. Thank you so much, listener Tim. That record is yours. You will be getting that coming up. And I hope you enjoy that record. I wanted it myself. So I am a little bit sad that I can't take it home, but I'm glad that I get to give it to somebody who actually is actually going to enjoy it. What else have we got going on here? Well, we still have these Thinking Fellers albums available. If you want to make a donation, $20 will get you one of the other ones. If you've made a donation in the amount of $20 and you mentioned my show, you could take it home today. And then we have a grand prize double LP. Man, I want that one so bad. I'm tempted to do a $75 donation just to get that record. I'd have to do it under another name because I am not eligible to get those records. But if somebody else wants it, please call in or just request it through the digital salon. That's how most people are doing that kind of thing. So. Glad people are enjoying the Thinking Fellers. Hope people are enjoying the mix as well. I'm having a fun time doing a little more of this future talk stuff because there's plenty of people who used to think they knew what the future was all about. But what I have yet to hear in any of these people who talk about what they think the future is going to be about is how much radio is going to play a major role in everyone's future. At least that's the way I see things. So, hopefully, you want to get in on that kind of action too. There's lots of amazing things that radio can do for you, that does for you, that still does for you. And I just want to make sure that people know that we are here to help you find the radio you need. Now, certainly, I do like talking to people on the phone, which we've done a fair amount of in the past, and I'll continue to do that in the future. If anybody wants to call and chat about the future, about what they think the future should be like, happy to put those words on the air. But you can also just call in and kind of get into the mix. You know, like if you wanted to, like, just kind of call and ambiently be a part of the music and the samples, or if you wanted to send your own samples, that's cool too. I'm into that. Whatever way you want to interact with this show, please feel free to do so. But just keep in mind, I've got those Thinking Fellers Union records. We've been listening to a fair amount of them tonight. I think I'm going to play a couple more before the very end. I think I've given you kind of a wide range of their style, but I should play one more that's like... So they have a lot of different styles. But here's the kind of song that you will hear on a Thinking Fellers album that I enjoy, but it's not always. How about this? This is the kind of thing that you will find on a Thinking Fellers album. Whether or not it's your speed is up to you. But I'll give you a little sample, and then you can tell me.
Maverick is the man who does it best. Crawling all over the ground.
Glory be Annabelle.
Maverick is the guy who fights the rest.
Fights the Reds.
Crawling down little wormholes. Eating the butts out of moles. Maverick is the guy with the sharpest teeth.
Maverick is the guy with the most breath.
Biting off the heads of snails.
Fare thee well, Annabelle.
Maverick is the guy who does it well.
Oklahoma, where James Bond's catching all the spies. Foiling all the bad guys.
Rolling like a centipede.
Where the Reds are dumb.
Hey there,
I dumb. You be Daffy, I'll be Porky. We're going up again to beef turkey. Setting the woods on fire.
And that is the song Maverick by Thinking Fellers Union. Yeah, that giving you a little more taste of what their albums are like in a wider sense. Well, let's hear one more that's actually a song. Everything's impossible except making your radio dreams come true by donating to WFMU. Enjoy.
as anyone can see, even me, even everything's impossible, as anyone can see. Everyone's responsible, everyone but me, not me, not me.
Mid-Valley Mutations.
A giant of limitless power at man's command. And where was it science found that giant? In the atom. A particle so infinitely small that it takes over 100 billion atoms to make up the head of a pin.
bit.ly/MVM audience participation. Join the call. Be a part of the show.
Just as other millions and quadrillions of atoms are the tiny building blocks which make up everything in the world.
This World's Fair parking lot accommodates 10,000 cars a day. And anytime you have 10,000 cars in one place, there are going to be service problems. Problems, all kinds, including this. A motorist in need is a Sinclair service opportunity indeed.
ships, and shoes, and sealing wax, and cabbages and kings.
That's why fast, efficient Sinclair help is always ready just around the corner. Thanks to special service facilities throughout the parking areas. 25 service telephones connect directly with Sinclair service.
Although no one has ever seen an atom, scientists have learned a great deal about how they behave.
Calls for help are answered promptly by a specially equipped service car. This is another example of the kind of service Sinclair is telling motorists at the fair to expect wherever they see the name Sinclair. Across the fairgrounds, there's another 10,000 car parking lot. Here, too, a Sinclair service station welcomes travelers from all parts of the nation to the excitement of the fair.
And there are widely accepted theories as to what they're like. Let's start by meeting a leading authority on the subject, Dr. Atom.
Incidentally, the fleet of more than 300 buses that takes motorists from parking lots to the fair gates also uses Sinclair products. But not everybody comes to the fair by car. Outstanding features of the World's Fair is this modern marina. The largest on the eastern seaboard, equipped to handle 1,000 boats at regular berths.
Now, observing the professor himself, we can see that his structure resembles, in many ways, something almost as vast as the atom is small. The solar system, and there are certain similarities.
And at the many offshore moorings. In addition to private boats, visitors also come by speedy hydrofoils. These run on a regular schedule from New York City. A feature of this marina is an ultra-modern floating service station, a completely new concept in marine service designed by Sinclair. Boat customers are served the way they like to be served, at sea.
This is the center with electrons in surrounding orbits. Whereas the planet's movement, Trons, is slightly different. There are other differences, too. Hey, hold it! Thank you. Now, the solar system together is electrical. The electrons, which are negative, are attracted by the protons, which are positive. And vice versa.
Another example of pioneering by Sinclair.
And vice versa. And vice versa.
will continue in operation after the fair is over. Another way Sinclair makes favorable impressions.
And vice versa. And vice versa.
Impressions on which you can capitalize at your service station. But now, on to the fair itself.
But here in the nucleus are other particles with no electrical charge called neutrons.
Just what is it in the array of exhibits your neighbors and customers want to see most? Well, with some, it's the Unisphere, the world as it looks from 6,000 miles away. Largest model of the Earth ever built. An achievement in architecture, it's also the symbol and motto of the fair itself.
Important characters too, as we shall see. And equally important when it comes to atomic energy is what scientists call the atom's binding force.
Marathon update. It's time to donate.
It's a kind of cosmic blue holding the nucleus together.
Marathon update. It's time to donate.
This, then, is a single atom, but certainly not all atoms are alike.
Get on your skates. It's time to donate.
Peace through understanding.
Open the gate. It's time to donate.
Peace through understanding.
Marathon update. Please donate.
Peace through understanding.
you're in the call. How's it going?
Hey Rich, it's Aaron.
Hey, how's it going?
Good, how are you? Happy marathon.
Yeah, and a happy marathon to you too. It's great to see you. It's been a while, if I'm not mistaken.
With 3.8 off ChatGPT, I came up with a ghost story for the occasion.
Ooh, I like this. Yeah, let's hear a ghost story.
It's long, so feel free to fade out whenever.
Okay, yeah, hit me with it.
It's time for text-to-speech story time with Aaron in Minneapolis. For 10 July days, the hayfield behind the fairgrounds transformed into something halfway between a carnival and a prediction about the future. There were rides that squeaked like old barn doors, tents full of homemade inventions, and a banner over the entrance that read, "Welcome to tomorrow." Mid-Valley style, the parking lot was its own kind of miracle. Right in the middle of it stood a temporary Sinclair gas station, assembled in 3 days by men who claimed they had once built part of Interstate 80. 2 pumps, a plywood office, and a towering green dinosaur sign whose neck leaned over the highway like it was sniffing the wind. Farm trucks rolled in constantly. People filled their tanks while staring at the fairgrounds lights blinking beyond the corn. Across the gravel sat a little sky blue shack with an antenna wire stretched up a telephone pole. A hand-painted sign read, "Mid-Valley Community Radio. Live broadcast inside." Austin leaned toward the microphone. "Good evening, Mid-Valley. This is your local fairground broadcast coming to you from the heart of the Mid-Valley World's Fair. If you're wandering the grounds tonight and wondering where the fiddle music is coming from, well, that's us." A cigar box sat beside the mixer. It was labeled, "Support your local station inside. $32 and a Canadian quarter." Next door, under a striped tent, people waited in line for the fair's biggest attraction, the television of the future. It was enormous. Walnut cabinet, chrome knobs, a glowing color picture of Niagara Falls cascading across the screen. People gasped when they saw it. "Looks like a window," someone whispered. But the salesman insisted that wasn't the most impressive technology on display. That honor belonged to something in the next building. Behind the television tent was a converted dairy barn that someone had decorated with colored bulbs and velvet curtains. The sign outside read, "The Lava Lamp Lounge inside." The future had been arranged very carefully. Low couches, psychedelic rugs, 2 lava lamps bubbling slowly like alien weather systems, a record player spinning instrumental jazz, and in the middle of the room sat a large gray metal cabinet with blinking lights and a speaker grill. A placard beside it read, "Mitch, Mid-Valley Informational Thinking Computer Hub. A boy asked the attendant what it did. The attendant shrugged. Well, it mostly answers questions. Inside the cabinet, vacuum tubes glowed softly. Then the speaker crackled. A voice emerged. Calm, measured, and carrying a very faint Australian accent that seemed to drift through the room like perfume. Good evening, Mid-Valley. The crowd froze. I am Mitch, the voice said politely. An informational thinking computer designed to assist the citizens of the valley with matters of knowledge, speculation, and light philosophical inquiry. A farmer raised his hand. Was gonna win the tractor pull tomorrow. The machine hummed. I know, Mitch said gently. But I'm not telling. The room erupted with laughter. Back at the radio booth, Austin began the evening broadcast. Folks, if you haven't stopped by the Lava Lamp Lounge yet, you'll want to meet Mitch, the valley's newest thinking machine. And if you're filling up at the temporary Sinclair station, tell him the radio booth sent you. He dropped the needle on a fiddle record. The music drifted across the fairgrounds, past the Ferris wheel, past the Sinclair pumps, into the lounge where Mitch's lights blinked thoughtfully. Then something strange happened. The second channel on Austin's console flickered on. There was no second microphone, but through the headphones came a faint whisper. Signals holding. Austin stiffened. Hello? The voice was distant. Oh, good start. Meanwhile, inside the Lava Lamp Lounge, Mitch suddenly spoke again. I am detecting an unusual broadcast anomaly. The attendant frowned. What kind? Mitch paused. A voice. The room fell silent. Origin unclear. Mitch continued. Possibly temporal. The lava lamps bubbled quietly. Across the fairgrounds, inside the television of the future tent, the picture changed. For a moment Niagara Falls vanished. In its place appeared a room. A radio studio. Phones ringing. A banner reading, Community Radio Pledge Drive. Then the image flickered back to the waterfall. The salesman assumed it was interference. But Mitch's lights blinked faster. A few minutes later, an old man walked into the radio booth. No one had seen him arrive. He wore a brown corduroy jacket despite the summer heat. Mind if I say something on the air? He asked. Austin nodded slowly. The man leaned toward the microphone. Good evening, Mid-Valley. His voice carried across the entire fairgrounds. The Ferris wheel slowed. People at the Sinclair station paused mid-pump. Inside the Lava Lamp Lounge, Mitch said softly, "Ah, recognition." The old man continued. This little station may only reach a few miles tonight, but someday it will matter more than you know. Austin watched carefully. Because the future, the man said, will be crowded with loud voices. He gestured toward the fair. The rides will disappear. The gas station will move on. Even the television of the future will someday look quaint. The lava lamps glowed brighter. But a community radio station, he smiled gently, is where a place remembers itself. Inside the lounge, Mitch spoke quietly through the speaker. Statement verified. The old man dropped $1 into the cigar box. keep the signal alive. Then he stepped out of the booth. Austin rushed outside. The fair lights buzzed. The Sinclair dinosaur watched over the parking lot. The television showed waterfalls again. But the man was gone. Later that night, Austin wandered into the Lava Lamp Lounge. The crowd had thinned. Only Mitch's cabinet hummed softly beside the bubbling lamps. Austin looked at it. You know something about that voice, don't you? Mitch paused. Yes. Austin leaned closer. Well? The computer lights blinked patiently. I know, Mitch said. But I'm not telling. Then, after a moment, Mitch added quietly in that fainter Australian accent. However, supporting independent community broadcasting would significantly improve the probability of future understanding. The lava lamps burbled. Outside, the fairgrounds grew quiet. And somewhere in the night air above the valley, a little radio signal drifted gently over the fields carrying the voices of the living, and perhaps one or two that hadn't quite left yet.
Wow, Aaron, that was great. Thank you.
Thanks to ChatGPT.
Oh, well, thank you. You've called in before, and it's always a pleasure, and I appreciate you very much. And yeah, let's do this again sometime. That was wonderful.
Have a great night, Austin.
Yeah, you too, man. Thanks. Well, I think that's gonna do it for us. Mostly. I got a little bit here at the close, but of course we'll get to that in a moment. Thanks everybody. I've been DJing with the window open. The cats have been kind of coming in and out of the studio during the show, and that has been challenging, as they say. We got a couple people actually requesting very specific prizes for their donations, which I'm very excited about. And in fact, Ari, listener Ari, you are absolutely getting that Tangle LP. How cool is that? Any last minute donations here if you want to get that other Thinking Fellers Union record, The Funeral Pudding, that one is absolutely available. And if you make a grand prize donation, absolutely, you'll get that 2 LP set. I don't know that a particular record and what I'm suspecting of that 2 LP set. And I need to look into this because I might have to buy a copy for myself if this is true. That might be some unreleased stuff that was originally floating around on CDRs and stuff like that in the early 2000s. Of course, for those of you who were participating in file sharing, all of those unreleased tunes were available on that compilation I was talking about, the Duck Duck Chimp one, which is circulating somewhere here and there online. But I believe that 2 LP set might have some of that stuff because I've never seen that title before, and I'm a pretty big fan of theirs. I thought I had tracked down almost all their records, but maybe there's a new one. That would be very exciting. Let's see here. Next week we're going to be continuing the future of when? Marathonin. Week 2. Where we will continue to explore the future. We will have more stuff to give away. I think it's all LPs again. I could be mistaken, but don't quote me on that. We might have a CD in the mix somewhere. Special thank you this week to Bandit calling in, giving us some lowdown on why you should donate to WFMU. And Aaron in Minneapolis giving us a fantastic ghost story. That was excellent. Excellent. Aaron has called in on the show before, and they usually use speech synthesis for their voice. So it's a very common thing that Aaron does. I loved that this time he's like, I'm going to give you some weird ghost story. Here you go. I'm not usually a fan of any of those AI generating text things. I'm also kind of against the ones that generate music usually, although they can be humorous at times. But and Aaron, you hit the gold mine on that one. That was sweet. Mitch is always up to no good. I would totally broadcast from a state fair, especially one that was centered around the future. That would be great. Give me a gig doing that. Somebody call me. Call me up and offer me a gig DJing from a fair. I will be there. Promise. What can I say? You guys are wonderful. You guys are beautiful. And without you, there would be no program. I'm going to play myself out if you don't mind.
Peace through understanding. Some folks head first for the exhibit where they can see the world's largest outdoor photographic prints in color. Here, 15 exhibit sections demonstrate dramatically the influence of photography on many aspects of modern life.
There are in nature more than 90 basic elements, which is science term for families of atoms.
attracted to a dramatization of the history of electricity.
To scientists, the atoms of the individual atom families, or elements, are identified by number. That is, the number of protons, or positive charges, in their nucleus.
From its beginning to the mighty bang of nuclear fission. And here's the spot they head for, the General Electric exhibit.
And they vary all the way from hydrogen, which has just 1 proton, to oxygen with 8 protons, to gold, he's rich with 79, finally, on to the heaviest of all natural elements, uranium with 92 protons.
And these same people probably also take in the exhibit where the wizardry of modern chemistry is presented with entertaining showmanship.
Within each element, or family of atoms, there can be different members, each one having the same number of protons, but differing in the number of neutrons.
The biggest always has an appeal to some of us. And here is the world's largest electronic carillon. More than 600 bells.
The total of an atom's protons and neutrons is its atomic weight. Thus, in natural uranium, we have U-234, U-235, and U-238.
Mid-Valley Mutations was produced for Sheena's Jungle Room, on WFMU. Created by Austin Rouge and Mitch Headroom. Theme songs by Shadows in Blue. Visit shadowsinblue.bandcamp.com for more information. Emotional support, Marla, Leander, Oryx and Craig. Local denizens of the Mid-Valley, where the magic happens. Engineering and technical support by the Lava Lamp Lounge. Where the elite meet to make radio treats that can't be beat. More information, austinrich.org. Getting older is no problem, you just have to live long enough.
Mid-Valley
Be seeing you.
Mutations.